In our next article, according to the UK Daily Mail today, tiny cameras the size of a fingernail linked to specialist computers are to be used to monitor the behavior of airline passengers as part of the never-ending war on terrorism. Cameras fitted to seatbacks will record every twitch, blink, facial expression, or suspicious movement before sending the data to onboard software, which will check it against individual passengers' profiles. Scientists from Britain and Germany are spending 25 million pounds developing a system which they hope will make it virtually impossible to hijack an airliner by providing pilots and cabin crew with an early warning of a possible terrorist attack such as 9/11. They say that rapid eye movements, blinking excessively, licking lips, or ways of stroking hair or ears are classic symptoms of somebody trying to conceal something. Now, I don't know about you, but when I get on an airline, I may scratch my face, I may blink. I may not exactly be in meditation. I may not exactly be calm as a peach, and neither are many of you. It doesn't exactly feel comfortable when you're receiving radiation, which is exactly what your body is experiencing going through when you fly on a regular basis. People aren't very healthy. They may blink, they may twitch, they may move around. Those seats are horrible. I hate those seats. Oh, but we're going to keep you safe from yourself. You hear about these new cameras they're starting to install in the airports, scanning people's faces. They call it mind reading technology. It's really behavior reading technology, analyzing the way you walk, your swagger, your gait. Is this person someone who's hiding something? Why are they sweating? Why are they nervous? People are nervous and sweating as a whole anyway because we are not comfortable with this prison planet being orchestrated around us, nor should we feel comfortable, nor should we worship a false god, a panopticon dystopia. It's not right, it's not normal, it's not human, but they expect us to believe it as such. Oh, brother. But, possible good news, only time will tell. In our next report, according to CNET, and this is important, so listen up, putting RFID chips into people's arms is, it turns out, not a booming business. This is actually old news. I've been actually monitoring their stocks for a long time, consistently since 2003. Verichip, which has created a system for putting RFID chips into humans for medical research tracking, held an initial public offering on Friday, and the company's stock has been struggling ever since. I know. I hear you from through the TV. Yeah, I got it telepathically. I hear your awes. Aw, poor Digital Angel, poor Verichip. They're really good guys. They just want to keep us safe. The stock is currently trading at about $6.15. The company released 3.1 million shares in the IPO for $6.50 a share. Part of the problem is likely the lackluster sales for the company's most famous product. Only 222 medical patients in total have opted to get RFID chips from Verichip implanted as of the end of 2006. They have now created RFID powder, which is approximately and growing 64 times smaller than the standard RFID chip. And they are also looking at new ways and applications for this. One of them that was recommended was the larger use of planting this RFID technology, which is very small, into currency. And if you do that, them, could literally run a transmitter, a scanner through a neighborhood, or perhaps put one up above a traffic intersection to find out exactly how much cash is in a region, is in a neighborhood, is in a zone. So that's information that you need to be aware of as well. RFID powder, it is the next best thing since sliced bread, according to the mother government. A major difference between the United Kingdom and America in surveillance is how we perceive an attack on our personal body, our own civil liberties. That we're actually being threatened on an intimate level by our governments, the same people that masquerade as our messianic saviors. In America, we are getting very used to surveillance. It's a common thing. I showed you the video last week of just some of the surveillance cameras here in Portland. In fact, I went to Oil Can Henry's before showtime today, and they got a whole surveillance grid there, part of the service, letting you know, letting you watch the guy underneath work on your car. You can see yourself in your car waiting for your oil to be changed. They're asking you information so they can mail you information, like your phone number, like your address. And I remember they're asking so many different questions that I got out of the car without saying anything, walked around to their computer, and just asked them, are you required by your employers for each person to get all this information? Yes, they are. But it's just so they can mail me coupons so I can save $5 next time I go. That may be all there is. That may be it. Regardless, you can't seem to go anywhere without seeing the camera. The main difference between us and our brethren in the UK is that the people there, the population there, is around so much in your face 1984 Orwellian surveillance that the younger generation, even the older generation, are more used to it than we are. Even though we have so much surveillance here, you actually start talking to someone about it at great lengths, and you'll find more people that actually aren't okay with it. In the UK, they run these polls, and maybe some of the polls are doctored and manipulated, but for the most part, 7 out of 10 are okay across the board. Why don't you do your own poll? Now, you're a part of the world, you're a part of the community, such as I am. You can grab a camera, you can grab a microphone and make a statement. Grab a sign, grab a bullhorn, get out at Pioneer Square and ask people in your own community. By getting out and, in a way, doing our own poll, which is on the local level, find out how people around you in your immediate circle, people that you can touch, feel, talk to, get to know. Find out how they feel about this panopticon dystopia. And if you can give them some information to make them think twice if they absolutely love Big Brother, then go ahead and do that. But also remember, and here's a piece of advice, when it comes to family and holidays, it's not only a tough time for you, but it's a tough time for me as well. And I believe the real growth in this is if you really want to talk to family, wake up your friends, do it in a way that you're just putting out the information. You're not trying to change how they think. And then just leave it at that. Plant the seed. Because, of course, as the years ahead keep showing us the things that I have talked about, as the years ahead keep manifesting more of these surveillance Orwellian measures, the conspiracy theories, what they have perceived to be conspiracy theories, the conspiracy myths, over time, are going to hit them like a ton of bricks.
I'm very proud of you, Alex. Very proud of you. Number two, well, I don't have a list necessarily. I'm just talking off my head. Why do you think there is so little common sense in the present time, and where is character? Why does mass media didn't say that Utah 19-year-old was a Muslim? And you know what? I thought your piece in Oil Can Henry was really interesting. I called my son. He's a regional manager for another brand. I said, my son, I said, Alex is banging Oil Can Henry. He said, great, Mom. Because he worked for them for a brief time, and that and my son's label, if you will, they don't do that, and they won't.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I just want you to know I've been very busy, haven't been able to watch, but I think it's so cool that you're on YouTube. So good job. I just wanted to call because I had a little free time. Final edit's going very well.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and you look very handsome.
Thank you. Thanks for calling in.
You're welcome. You take care.
And we're going to go to the next article pertaining to the Associated Press article. A 66-year-old German tourist annoyed by security at Manila's airport dropped his pants before walking through an X-ray machine. Newspapers said Monday. Authorities were not amused. That would be a great guest for Outside the Box. Taking your clothes off before you go through the X-ray machine that scans your body and gives you just a little bit of TLC, little tender loving care radiation. Yes, right. Get a little bit of that before you actually move on to the airliner. I had a friend of mine who eats only organic food, and she did not want that to go through the scanner. She asked the guard, the security officer, please don't put it through that thing. Just if you want to taste it, if you want to look at it, go ahead. He said, sure, and he did it anyway. And that changes the dynamics of the nutritional content within her nuts, within her food, within what she had. And that's horrific. In our next report, the state of New Mexico has ordered 500 talking urinal cakes that will deliver a recorded anti-DWI message to bar and restaurant patrons who make at least one pit stop before getting behind the wheel. The WizMark, which is what they call it, quote, WizMark device, subjects users to a female voice reading the following script. Hey there, big guy. Had a few drinks? Listen up. Think you've had too many? Then it's time to call a cab or ask a sober friend for a ride home. I'm sure it's safer and a hell of a lot cheaper than a DWI. Make the smart choice tonight. Don't drink and drive. Remember, your future is at hand. Now, how many people are going to heed a warning from a urinal that's talking to them? Oh, wait a minute. I guess that's nothing new. We've had a talking urinal giving us commands from the White House since the year 2000. We have another phone call, so we are going to let them through and see what's on your mind this evening. How are you, caller?
Oh, I'm doing great, Alex. How about you?
I'm doing good tonight.
Right on. Yeah, you know what? I would like to welcome that first caller to the Brotherhood of Truth and Accountability. He sounds like he's got a fire lit in him, and I hope it burns brightly and he accomplishes all his goals with his vision of filming and documenting and being the neutral microphone man out there with John Q. Public. And I hope he helps enlighten other people. And the point that you were making earlier about just talking about these issues, with your family and not actually trying to change their mind, but just tossing out the information. It brings to mind what I do at work. In fact, today I was walking through the lunchroom and a couple of guys are sitting there debating McDonald's and Burger King and how crappy both of them taste. And I said, FDA just approved cloned meat for human consumption. The room went silent, and they go, "What? Who did that?" I says, "Well, the people that learned how to clone the meat said, let's do this," and the FDA said, "Okay." So anyway, welcome to the first caller to the Brotherhood of Truth and Accountability. And
Sure.
You rock, Alex.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Bye.
And those of you watching, let me know as soon as we know what national restaurants are serving cloned meat. And we will have a little national campaign, international I should say, and exploit those corporations that are already feeding us garbage to begin with.
Yes, am I with you, Alex?
Hi.
Yes, hi. We love you very much, and your show is number one. And the reason I called you tonight to tell you about world government, that they have a website called worldgovernment.org. And if you go on the page, and you will see that they are issuing world passport and world birth certificates and world national ID cards from their websites. And they have an office in Washington, D.C., and they have an office in Japan. And please, you monitor this worldgovernment.org, and please show their website and their world passport next week to the...
You online? Send me a link. Just go to the website, alexansary.com, send me a link.
Yes, worldgovernment.org.
Okay, cool.
And I have another person who been in Rin's show and Alex Jones' show. Her name is Joan, And if you want, I can give her telephone number to you, and she will talk. She will be a guest for you maybe in future, and she will talk about the world government.
Who?
Joan,
Okay.
Joan, and if you want, I give you her telephone number.
Okay. If you're online, right?
Yeah.
Just do that over email.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I will do that. And thank you so much.
Thank you
everything.
for calling. Thank you for watching.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I remember back in 2000, I was an employee of the TA truck stop. I worked down Aurora during those interesting years of my life back in 2000. And I remember towards the end, I've actually never talked about this, I barely even remembered it till today. I remember they went cashless. They already were cashless by giving checks. That is cashless because there's a basic perception that your check is actually worth something based upon the zeros and ones with the bank. They moved from, instead of just giving you a check, we're going to give you a card. And you go to the card and you go to the ATM to withdraw your paycheck. And I remember that was that was early 2000, before 9/11, already going cashless. That was quite interesting indeed. I don't know if any other companies are doing that. You can let me know, but I thought that was quite bizarre. But that's what it reminds me of, you know, all these things that we have seen before 9/11 pertain to this cashless grid that we're moving into. Now, how is any economy built upon the cashless grid going to survive if the dollar isn't recognized any longer and people continue to dump the dollar? And you realize more and more with the cost of living going up, that your dollar isn't really worth very much. Brand spanking $100 bill no longer has that feeling of wealth, that you can do something with it, that it used to do. It's like $100, $20 isn't worth nothing anymore. It's all about what that dollar, which is energy, doesn't mean that money's evil. Money's not evil. It's energy. It's about what you do with it, what you can do with it. Once you find yourselves not being able to do anything with the dollar, whether the dollar is a physical dollar, whether it's a credit card, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. And so that's one of the things that we're going to be looking at over the course of the next few years, the health, the mighty strength of the dollar. And with that, we'll go to the next phone call.
What's up, Alex?
Hey, man.
Yeah, I was wondering if you've seen Sunday's Oregonian about the Real ID Act. They had, I guess, like all kinds of state legislatures are pretty much trying to tell the federal government, no, I don't think so. You know, and like some of them already had to stop making the changes they originally were making to all their licenses because they're like, well, we're not going to pour all this money into it, and then the government's going to tell us we're going to spend billion more to make new ones.
Hang on, you're talking about legislators that are opposed to it?
Yeah, I guess Maine is, they flat out said, we don't want to have no real ID. You know, we everything's fine the way it is.
Yeah.
Which, that's, you know, whatever happened to states' rights. I remember Bush was always talking about that in 2000. We got to have states' rights, and you know, it's like, well, you remember that?
Democracy.
I mean,
you know, democracies around the world ain't necessarily going to look like ours.
I hear you, but yeah, I mean, I guess they're trying to push it back another 2 years to 2010. Because
you know what?
It's just going to cost billions and billions of dollars.
I'm getting fired up now. I mean, we are not witnessing direct victories, but we are seeing breaks in the dam. We're seeing different people in government that aren't in on the know, that aren't one of them, start to go, hang on, what are you doing? What are you doing?
We need more of them people.
They're a little slow.
Yeah.
Our legislators are a little slow. They don't go to the same websites we go to. They basically take commands. But at some point, they get enough phone calls from people like you, and they start to wonder, am I really for this?
Well, we need to defeat the duopoly of deception, so everybody needs to wake up.
Yeah.
All right, have a good one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Tip. I am a grouchy SOB if I get less than 6 hours sleep. 8's good. I prefer 9. I believe dreaming, the dream world, sleep, getting down to those low levels of your mind, deep sleep, is very important to your mental health. A lot of people don't get the same sleep that they should. They don't really look at it as important as they ought to. People working more and more, some people with 3 jobs, 4 jobs. Sometimes it's easy to forget. A very good friend of mine years ago that I respected a lot would just get by on 3-4 hours sleep, running a hotel. at the Holiday Inn, working 18-hour days. 14-hour days, 15-hour days, whatever. 6 days a week. That became his identity, of the very good worker who didn't need very much sleep, that whenever the boss needed him, he'd be there. And there's a good aspect to having a strong work ethic, but I also felt he was always a slave, because his entire life was like that, doing nothing but working, and really not having anything whatsoever to show for it. While you may feel like a prisoner in this transparent cage, how do you feel inside? Are you free on the inside, on a psychological, spiritual, mental, physical, physiological level? Unless you can say yes right now without hesitation, I would say, my friends, you have a little bit more work to do and a little bit more on your plate. And with that, I will see you next week. Good night, all.